Today, guys, we gotta pour one out for the homie, the Splawn Super Sport 50 KT88, sitting beside me. Because after this video, he's going bye-bye. So I'm gonna send it off the best way that I know how. With a few of my terrible riffs. Let's do it! Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle. What I do is I take all sorts of awesome, high gain related guitar equipment, I record it with a simple setup, and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. So if you're into East Hand or thrash riffs, dropsy hardcore riffs, and dudes that just spit on their own glasses somehow, you're in the right place. Consider hitting the like button and subscribing on the way out, or I'll point at you some more. Thanks! 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 Alright guys, so as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, a little bit of a sad day here at Belligerent Amateur Studios because I have, as a matter of fact, sold my custom order Splawn Super Sport 50, and it is actually going to its new owner later today. So, I'm sure many of you guys are probably saying,
Kyle, you're such a Splawn simp. Why would you sell an amp that you custom ordered from one of your favorite companies?
And there are really two answers for that, and I think that they're good answers. But what do I know? I'm just me. So way back in 2019, I can't believe it's actually been 5 years since I ordered this amplifier. Derek Verici, the guitarist in my band Bushido Code, and I both decided that we wanted to order custom matching Splawn amplifiers for the band. We're both huge fans of Splawn amplification, and those are the primary amps that we use for Bushido Code, the quick rod circuit specifically. And we had decided that we kind of wanted something a little bit custom. That way we are both fans of, you know, when the guitarists kind of have matching gear on stage, so we wanted two matching heads, but we also wanted them to be a little bit more portable, but we didn't want to sacrifice on the tone, and we definitely did not want to sacrifice on the headroom. So we hit up Scott Splawn, talked to him about this stuff, and he actually let us know that he can do his quick rod circuit in a Super Sport head shell, which the Super Sport is essentially just his small form factor head shell, but he could put in the full-size 50-watt transformers, and he could fit KT88s in there, which is actually kind of amazing. So yeah, this little lunchbox size amplifier has KT88s and has massive 50-watt high headroom transformers. And I also ordered it with a couple of extras, one being the mid switch, two being the new old voicing switch. And I also kind of wanted it to have a little bit of a vintage look, but I always love the look of a black faceplate. So yeah, we basically went all out, ordered it exactly as we wanted it, and we ordered this in 2019, and wouldn't you know it, the amps actually showed up to us about 2 weeks after the whole world shut down for you know what in 2020. So we had a little bit of time to spend with the amplifiers before we could even get together as a band. And when I plugged into the amplifier for the first time, I gotta be 100% honest, I was a little disappointed. To me, it seemed like there were some differences to the sound of the amplifier when compared with my favorite Splawn quick rod circuits. I've got a couple of different of these Splawn quick rod circuits. If you're not familiar with the Splawn naming conventions, well, neither am I. Basically, he has two circuits, the Nitro and the quick rod. The Nitro being the very saturated, very bass heavy, scoopier, kind of like 80s Guitar Olympics type tone. and the quick rod essentially being a hot rodded 2203 that doesn't change the rawness and the openness of the amp. It's a very dry, very stiff feeling amplifier, but tons of bass response and, you know, kind of still has that Marshall open growl intact. Now, I have a number of circuits in the quick rod family, and I have come to find that even though they're all essentially supposed to be the same circuit with different output sections and different tubes, I think that's really the primary differences. The competition and the Pro Stock are the circuits that I like the most out of that entire line. For whatever reason, they just fit my ear the best. They're the most aggressive in the top end. Some of the amps in the quick rod line are just a little bit smoother on the top end overall. I've got the Presence cranked on this amplifier right now, and even then, it's not nearly as bright in a way that I like. It doesn't have that top end sizzle the same way that my competition and my Pro Stock do. So, but yeah, those are really the only reasons I'm selling these things. I guess there is a third reason, and that third reason is because some things are changing around here. I hate to be that guy like your local burnout that you went to high school on Facebook, always posting big things coming soon. But for real, something very, very large is coming soon to this channel. Really excited to share it with you guys, but now is not quite the time. But anyways, I kind of needed to liquidate some of my collection in order to put into this big thing that's coming soon. With all of that being said, I just wanted to take this thing for a spin with you guys one last time. This was one of the first amps that I ever demoed on my channel, and I demoed it on a Crate Blue Voodoo cab with vintage 30s, and I mixed an SM57 and a Sennheiser E609 microphone, which you guys know I don't ever do that, but that was literally in the first month that I started my channel, and I kind of wanted to give it the proper belligerent amateur thrashing through the Marshall 1999 traditional cab. I cannot talk it all today. With the SM57 on the V30 and no post-processing. For that intro clip, I am actually using the Epiphone Adam Jones 1979 Les Paul Custom with the Seymour Duncan distortion in the bridge. If you guys like what you hear, Zounds affiliate link for this bad boy below. Thank you, Zounds, for providing this guitar so I could thrash on it and make it look stupid because I'm stupid. And then for the overdrive that we were using on that intro clip, we were using the Lichtlerm King in yellow. And again, to refresh your memory, that sounded like this. All right, so sounds awesome. The low end, even though we're cutting a lot of lows on the overdrive, sounds huge, and it is very saturated. We are currently in the regular old OD1 mode on this. If you guys are not familiar with Splons, the quick rod circuit has an overdrive 1, overdrive 2 mode, so we'll check out the overdrive 2 mode. Here is that same tone, but without any overdrive engaged out front. So as you can see, still saturated and still tight. The Splons, even though they're stiff, have a very tight low end. It's kind of like that thuddy Marshall low end, but also mixed with some of the rectifier DNA in my experience, because it has just a low mid grunt to it that no other Marshall has ever had. So that's how it sounds for the high gain stuff with your typical passive pickup. Let's try a pickup that has lower output and see if this thing can still do the classic dad rock tones, even though it doesn't have the traditional gear setup like most of the other quick rod circuits do, meaning gear 1 being a plexi, gear 2 being a JCM with a little bit more gain, and gear 3 being a super hot rodded JCM. I'm really struggling through this video. But yeah, this amp still has a wide range of gain available, even though it doesn't have the gear setup. So as you guys can see, this thing still absolutely nails the vintage Marshall tones, but in all honesty, I like it better than something like a 2203 for stuff like that, because you can still fill in the low end, and the gain doesn't like make the amp anemic when you roll it back to get those lower gain tones. That is our low output pickup with no overdrive out front, let's move over to something like an EMG and see how it responds to something active as opposed to something passive, like you little bitch. All right, guys, so I have my Schecter Solo 6 Hellraiser Extreme with an EMG 81 in the bridge. Again, we have no overdrive out front. This is how it sounds. This is gonna make me regret selling this amplifier like I usually do when I sell amplifiers that I love. So now let's try it with a Fishman Fluence pickup. All right, guys, Fishman Fluence Fluff Signature pickup. We are on the active setting. I've touched nothing on the amp. No overdrives are on. So that is probably the most I've ever liked this pickup. Huge fan of how that sounded. And again, no overdrives out front. So let's go over to a drop C guitar. So one of the things that I love so much about the Spawn Quick Rod circuit is it retains that Marshall rawness, that Marshall aggression, but there is so much more low-end punch than any other modded Marshall style amplifier that I have ever played. That includes Friedman, that includes Bogner, everything. I'm not talking down on those amplifiers or those manufacturers by any means, but there's something about the Spawn low end and the way that I love a low end to sound percussive. That way all of the rhythm instruments in a band mix really punch together on stuff like palm mutes, especially during ignorant breakdowns when you're punching your friends. Obviously, I've been punched too many times and I have brain damage now. But yeah, that is one of the main reasons why I love the Spawn Quick Rod circuit so much. So that was actually with the Overdrive 2 mode engaged on the foot switch. So what the Overdrive 2 mode does is it essentially adds some more gain, it adds some more compression, and it overall just makes the amp sound a little bit thicker and a little bit more saturated. So if we kick off that Overdrive mode and go back into Overdrive 1, so you can see it's a little bit more open, it's got a little bit more clarity to it, but it's not as thick, and a lot of the, I don't know, the compression just kind of does something, especially in the lower tunings that I like, makes the amp sound a little bit thicker for the hardcore stuff. Again, here it is with the Overdrive 2 on. And yeah, as you can see, we're getting feedback as well. So with the Overdrive 2 on, just overall more saturation, more clarity, just gives you more options to get exactly the tone that you are looking for out of the amplifier. Two things that I haven't really touched on yet are the voicing switch and the mid-scoop switch. So we're gonna turn the mid-scoop switch on while playing so you guys can see the difference, and then we'll do the same with the new old voicing switch. So as you guys can see, the mid switch takes away a significant amount of the upper mids and the mid aggression. Were I to order this amplifier again, I would not get that switch installed because I have never used it since trying it out the first time. I just don't like what it does. It takes away what I like about the amplifier. The new old switch, on the other hand, when I first got this amp, I noticed that there was kind of like a little bit of a quackiness to the top end that the other amps don't have. And when I flipped it into the old position, that was gone. So I actually like the old position on this amp a little bit more. And were I to order this amplifier again, I would probably just have Scott put it in old voicing position. I don't know. I would give me the old style. That's what I want. Give me the old voicing, and I don't care about the new one because the new one's a little bit too stringy, a little bit too quacky for me, and I've just never really gotten on with it. So that is what those voicing switches do. Last but not least, let's get a stupidly low-tuned guitar, play a really low-tuned riff, and then we'll get the hell out of here. So that riff, again, we had the King in Yellow on. We were in Overdrive 2, and we were in the new voicing mode. Let's kick off Overdrive 2, go back into Overdrive 1, push the gain up a little bit more. Let's play the same riff. Alright, so I actually like it in Overdrive 1 mode a little bit better for the really low tunings because it's a little more open, there's a little bit more note clarity, and it's a little drier, which I think really low tuned riffs need a little bit more of a dry saturation or else they just kind of sound muddy. So those are my thoughts. What are yours? Because we're done here. I'm getting the hell out of here just like I said I would. So let me know what you guys thought about this amplifier down below in the comments. Am I stupid for selling this awesome custom ordered amplifier, or am I smart because I can sell it now, just buy another one from Splon exactly the way I want it later? Let me know, and of course I want to hear if you have any experience with this amplifier or any other Splons of any sort. Let me know down below in the comments. I'll be sure to meet you down there to chat about it. And as always, if you want to help my channel, which I could really use right now with everything coming up in the near future here, make sure to utilize those affiliate links. I would really appreciate it if you're ordering any new gear. Sweetwater and Zounds.com affiliate links below. Anything you buy using those links, I get a little kickback. It costs you nothing extra, and it is really, really going to help. Or you can consider joining this list of incredible people and joining my Patreon community and supporting the channel that way. I'm finally leaving. Thanks again for hanging out with me, checking out this amp one last time and giving it a proper send-off. Hit that like button if you liked it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.
You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.